Your association with theatre was not a conscious decision to begin with, from what I have gathered. What about your decision to be a director? How and why did you choose to direct plays?
Yes, I am born in a theatre family. My father being one of the very renowned theatre personality. So I had direct access to the backstage or the processes of theatre making. Uh, that gave me the initiation into the theatre. So I got into the theatre space quite comfortably. I didn't have to struggle for that. And then my work with Chetona, seeing the work processes, then being acting in the play of Bibhas Chakraborty, especially in 1988 when he created Madhav Manunchi Koinna, that famous play, and being assistant to Utpal Dotto for his adaptation of Midsummer Night's Dream, Choitali Rater Shopno. So those are, my initial days to kind of understand the art of theatre, the methodology of the rehearsal processes. And then that kind of triggered some questions in me that really I want to do theatre or not, because I had uh, immense interest in cinema also. But I didn't know how to get into the mold of cinema, the industry of films. And that's because I have constantly in the realm or domain of theatrical practices, I thought that was a very easy thing to get into. So I got into, and slowly I kind of got completely enamored by the art of theatre. And then this deeper question started arising within me, that how to sharpen my skills as a theatre artist. And then I found as an actor, I'm not feeling comfortable. So I started my career in theatre as an actor. That is also my training during that time, watching these very famous directors from very closely. And then at one point, when I went to United States for my Trinity La Mama Performing Arts program, that opened up a big spectrum of performances, uh, a new arena altogether. I saw very famous artists like Pina Bausch, dance theatre, Budol dance theatre, and then working with Joseph Chaikin, one of the famous directors from Open Theatre that time. All this really gave me some deep inspiration. And then I decided that if I want to do theatre very seriously, I have to really practice it hard. I have to know more and more. And that's my conscious decision that time to become a theatre director. So now I have to find my own language in theatre. And that triggered those, working with very famous artists. I really lucky to work with some great artists in Bengal or abroad, and watching some really important performances. That triggered me into that question, said me that what I want to do in theatre, how do I want to process my theatre, and how to find my own voice. That is most important as an artist, my own voice as an artist.
There are actually two questions, both arising from this. One is that how were you influenced by Joseph Chaikin's Open Theatre? That's something we are very interested to know. I'll come to the next question later.
Now, actually, it was a very nice anecdote I can say that Joseph Chaikin just survived a heart attack that time. Okay. And the text which was chosen for our practice that time was Danto's Death, the famous play by Buchner. And it was a very grim play. It's a very different kind of play. So we are all the teachers, they were taking that as a text to work with us. So everybody has their own way, a different methodology, a different process to get deeper into the text. So we are working with that. But when Joseph Chaikin came, he said that, look, I just survived a heart attack. I don't want to get into this green play. I want something lighter. If the institution don't give me some lighter play, I will not do in classes with you. I cannot handle this text. So immediately it was changed to Molière text.
Okay.
So, and which play of Molière? I think the Would Be Gentleman. That play was chosen. No, sorry, Don Juan. So Don Juan was chosen. So Joseph Chaikin started working with that. And the way he conducted our workshops or our improvisations, that was really inspiring. It's a very different way. I mean, how to approach a text, how to approach a theatrical space, from a very different context. Like not to work with text also sometimes, not to work with text, keeping the text aside, trying to find the modus operandi of the special performance. What are the deeper notes we want to achieve? What is your own way of getting deeper into the performance? So the performance code of it, how to bring the performative. What is the performative in this text? One is the textual, the richness or the literary, greatness of a text. It can be Shakespeare, it can be Buchner, it can be Tom Stoppard, it can be Mohit Chattopadhyay, it can be Babur Sarkar, whoever it is. One is the literary thing, but it is theatre. Finally, you're working about a performance. So how to get that, that performance, the deep performative code, and get your own instinct, your own perspective, why you're doing this text, and why it is important to do it as a theatre performance. Those are the questions which I think were very valid. And that really inspired me, and that what got into my, deeper self. Like, I will give another anecdote which really changed my perception of theatre. This is we went to see a performance of Anne Bogart, who is a very famous theatre director. So Anne was doing a performance by the Central Park. It's a 4-storied house, I remember, old cancer hospital, and she created a performance. And it was a multidisciplinary performance. And first I kind of got that word multidisciplinary. What is that? And then this many performers performing in different corners of that house. It was really kind of, you cannot focus on anything. So after the performance, I asked Anne that, I had a problem with this at a performance. What? Look, I don't know where to see. So many things happening simultaneously. So Anne had a very strange smile on her face, and she told, do you ask this question when you're on the roads? What to look and what to hear? You have your own choice, right? But that's the democracy of theatre. So I am not confining you to my vision. I'm opening up a space in front of you. So you have the choice to watch anything, because human mind, human eyes, human ear can make this decision to what to see and what to hear. So in theatre, I'm giving this choice. That really opened up a completely new area, that how to really look at theatre. What the theatre director's job in particular. So I think that those things are very important in my life. Or this is Anne Bogart's great contribution to my future as a theatre director. And I think that I have a little bit of achieved in my own theatrical way of how I see theatre, how I do theatre, how I process theatre, how I work with my actors, how I work with my co-artists. And those are things very important. How this multidisciplinary thing is another thing which is very important. Like the first thing we were given to as a reading material was letters to Theo. Like Van Gogh's letter to Theo. So why was given this book to read? But look, what is the artist's struggle? What is an artist's struggle to really speak? What is the passion means to be an artist? What is the passion of an artist? To understand from Van Gogh's letters to Theo, the completely, one is the passion, and one is the insecurities. If an artist is not insecure, he's not an artist. He has to be. If he is confident, secure, then artistry started fading away. So I think that insecurity, human frailties, which we have, if you can recognize that within yourself, that's the most important thing. And to sustain that insecurity inside you. That's most difficult. Uh, because I think that when I say that, what is Peter Brook does to his actors is that the day before the performance, he will edit random pieces. Because when the artist is so confident, I know tomorrow what I have to do. I've rehearsed like for so many months, I know perfectly what I am to do. That kills your creativity. So the uncertainty, the moment you're uncertain, that immediately, make all the senses alive. It is alert. Because I'm insecure, I'm not very sure. Of course, it's very deeper thought, definitely what I'm saying. That it is not meaning that you're unprepared. It is some kind of insecurity or that assertion. You are not so confident that you perfectly know what you want to do. So you are scared of mistakes. You are scared of certain unknown things. So that keeps an artist alive, and that's I think one of the most important role of an artist, theatre artist, to keep this alive within you, to bring that uncertainty, that sense of unknown, constantly in your creative process. That keeps you alive. That keeps you more creative.
Would I also ask you about Pina Bausch? How did she influence your work?
Oh, Pina Bausch is a great inspiration. I really saw her performing also in Cafe Müller. That how one is her question of how she brings the performance on the stage, the artistry, his imageries, her vision, her gender politics, and how to really visualize the gender politics. And as an artist, as a theatre artist, you must know how to visualize, how to bring the performance code on this, not like speaking lines. She's dancing. She's dancing. She's not using words, but it is so verbose at the same time. When, like in some ways, no verbosity, there's no language used, but you can understand every line. It's a language kind of coming out of images. That gives me that theatre is an art of image. How to bring that image out on stage, and how to make it political. An image is not image as beautiful image. Image speaks. Image is political. Image is theoretical at the same time. So how to bring this in visual means, that's important. Not creating good visuals. And the use of repetition, another thing. That how she uses repetition as a political code. I think that's very important. That I think most of the time image is taken only that creating a beautiful image, or how it is beautifies your frame, a theatrical frame or a cinematic frame. But the important thing is that are you creating a different language? What I think Antonina Artaud was trying to say, the sign language, signaling through flames. So I think Artaud was talking about signaling through flames in a very theoretical way. But actually directors who actually were signaling through flames were Pina Bausch. He's creating, I'm taking you giving one instance of her performance, that one woman dancer is stripping on stage, right? Stripping, and there's one actor who comes at the edge of the proscenium and keep a constant watch on the people's eyes. Are they watching the woman getting stripped? And everybody, all the people are so embarrassed that they don't look at the woman. They're looking at this guy who's keeping constant watch, right? So I think that gives that is absolutely fascinating, that you are scared to look at that woman because somebody is watching you, right? So I think that gives the imagery. That is the code. That she is constantly stripping, slowly looking at the audience, and audience cannot look at her because two actors continuously keeping a watch, and you are actually watching this man instead of the woman. So I think this is one thing that Pina Bausch has taught, that look, this is where gender politics come. Yes. That you are in a position as an individual in society who is scared. You have a desire to watch, but you cannot watch. You are not watching because somebody is watching. Yes. That's my failure as a human being to open up. So these are many instances. Then that favorite scene, like how the actors trust on stage is so important. that how artists can have to trust each other on space. Like that scene in Cafe Mueller when she is blindfolded and she's running across amok on the stage, and the other actors, the stage is full of chairs, and the other actors are removing those chairs from her way, and she's running amok. Man, one small mistake, she might get she might meet a bad accident. But this is where the trust that she is trusting her co-actors, that I will run and they will make sure that I don't fall. I don't need an accident. But that's also another thing, is walking on a tightrope. That you are blindfolded and doing that. That was in Cafe Mueller, which I saw in Germany. So all these things make that, theatre is an art where you have to trust. You have to create that camaraderie within yourselves. How to create that? How to create the methodology is very important. How are you creating a piece? The end product is something which will come to the audience. But creating the piece in a multidisciplinary way, how to create that, your vision in a way with your actors, with your collaborators, with your co-artists, how to create that performance. Then also Anna Nushkin, another great artist which I've seen in Paris. I think those are the theatre pieces which changed my vision about theatre. That what artistry means, what skill means, what commitment means, and what a visionary means. That what we're talking about will make sense. You can be speaking a very small thing, but you're speaking with all honesty. You're giving the best of yourself to bring that out from yourself and from your team.
That's wonderful. But, coming closer to home and coming to the audience as well, you said somewhere that Marit Shangbad, Madhav Malanchi Koinna and Jagannath are three plays that were very important in your development as a theatre maker, because you came in touch with a varied section of the audience. So could you just elaborate a bit on this?
Yeah, that's very important. But Jagannath and Marit, both are legendary productions in Bengali stage. Of course, being part of those productions was a great, it's a great opportunity to be those plays. And the moment, that gave me an access to a huge audience that time. Like I remember, I'm singing Meri Baba, the famous singer from Marit Shangbad. We sing this famous song Meri Baba Gan, which is about America and the foreign policy. And that was a changing time, 1991, 92. Those times, it's completely a blank socio-political situation. It's very, it's all muddled up. It's very grey. We don't know what to do and what to do. At that time, that song, which was so immensely successful, and people really enjoyed every line of that song. But I've seen the meaning of the song is changing. While I'm singing, some people are missing the internal jokes, internal fun of the song. They're missing it. The audience has no clue what this song is about, what the political satire it is bringing out. I can feel that while singing that song. When I'm going to the villages, Mafisal towns, or the city, you can see that I have seen Meri Baba sung by Biplab Ketan Chakraborty, or even some shows by Suman Mukhopadhyay also. I see every line is kind of, making a great impact on the audience. There's a great chemistry happening. I slowly felt that chemistry is missing. So people are getting alienated from a certain socio-political praxis or socio-political knowledge or understanding of that politics. So that made me feel that I can feel that this is what change means. I will take the same anecdote where Peter Brook wrote in his diaries that he's doing King Lear in Poland during the East European, that uncertainty, which was immensely successful. People got the character. People got the King Lear. Then next, immediately they took to New York, but it completely failed because they came to watch Peter Brook's King Lear. Famous. This is social conditioning. I have to go. That's my social status to be to watch a Peter Brook play. But as a performance, Peter Brook's writing this, that it failed, didn't work. That impact, the socio-political impact which he felt in Warsaw, never emerged in New York. It's the same thing that when the socio-political scenario is changing, people are getting alienated because of socio-political conditioning, certain situations, certain play is getting lost. So I think that gave me an access to the huge, vast spectrum of audience in West Bengal to understand how theatre art really affects the mass, affects the audience, affects the society. It affects, definitely affects. And how the socio-political perspective, situation also changes the perception of the audience of theatrical, how they understand the art of theatre or any cultural, medium, how these dynamics change. So I think that is a great lesson I've learned. And then also Madhum Malanchi, which is a folk tale, fantastic musical, grandiose musical that went to different corners of the Bengal. That also, you can see the understanding of the audience, how what people are liking, what people are looking for, what are the areas people are getting bored, they're talking to each other, what people are really engaged. This engagement of an theatre artist or theatre team with the audience is very important to understand. If you don't understand this and if you don't engage in continuously searching this chemistry which happens in theatre, then you will completely be vague as an artist, I think so. An artist has to continually engage into this practice of understanding your people and continually monitor. Continually be alert that what I am speaking from stage and what chemistry is getting made. Am I really speaking to them? Is my voice heard? Is the understanding? Or is a vague space? There's a wall between me and the audience. That has to be continually researched and understood, and that is the great role of a theatre director to understand.
Talking about this change that has occurred in the socio-political scenario, it has occurred in the audience and most probably in you as well as a maker. I wanted to ask that Coriolanus, you said that it's one of your first serious attempts. That was in the beginning of the 90s.
91.
91.
That's stuff coming from United States.
So that was the beginning, and after that almost 3 decades have passed and you're working constantly. So this is a broad question. I wanted to ask how you have felt yourself evolve, but if you can just...
But definitely from 91 to 2017, it's a long journey as a theatre director. Of course, a lot of my perceptions about theatre changed, the times has changed, the audience has changed, the politics has changed, this new technology which has come, the questions of space, performance, new media, theatre architecture, theatre methodologies, new ways to practice theatre, new perception of technology again, acting styles, installation art, scenography. All this has a major sea change happened in the world of arts and especially theatre arts. Those everything I continuously try to evolve myself, try to question myself as a theatre artist. That what is my role again? What is my role again in this context, in this particular moment of time, particular moment of history? That how to operate, how to create that excitement within me, how to continually engage myself in these deeper questions of theatre art, and how to penetrate in these times, And as I always mention that I have done theatre, my last theatre like few years back. I've not done anything after that, and didn't even feel also that energy to rise and do something. So I'm waiting for that moment to come within me when I really feel that now I have to do theatre. I've not felt that, to tell you very honestly, and don't miss also, because I don't want to add another production into my biodata, in my resume, that I've done another play. If I do something, that has to be meaningful to me firstly, that what I'm doing, and then if really can provoke some new thoughts within the society, in terms of everything. Even when we're processing my work, if it can really bring some deeper meanings out of me and my team. That has to be first. So if I have to wait for that moment for myself to rise up and say that I want to do a play now. This is my moment to do another theatrical experiment or a new performance. So waiting for that, but I'm completely engaged. I've never stopped. Like even the last meeting in Kolkata, I went to an art gallery to talk to them if I can use their space for a new performance. And I'm continuously engaging. I met some theatre artists, young theatre artists who are now working in Bengal, to share my views. I don't want to create a leadership. I just want to engage into some dialogues. If something can be done, I have my thoughts I can share. If I can't do anything right now, if I'm not feeling like doing anything now, I can of course ask others, are you interested to do something like this? I can be some kind of advisor, but I'm not creating a team or creating a team of resistance against certain practices. I don't believe in those kinds of resistances or opposite teams. I think that the art itself is a resistance. If you create a theatrical piece, that itself creates a resistance. That itself creates a political comment. So for me, so this journey, I think this waiting for a moment to happen never happened before. It is that's a way of with a professional commitment. I have to do play after play. I have a group. I have to survive in the group. I have to keep my actors engaged. So I have to do productions after productions, theatre plays after plays. That is my big change. It happened in my life. That I wait for that moment to happen. I don't want to engage myself into that what to say, that professional cycle of continuously doing theatres or films. So at this point, some people can afford it. I've kept my life very simple, so I can afford it. I don't have overhead commitments for myself. Because that's the one trick one has to know, tricks of the trade, as Dario Fo has said, that you have to keep your life very simple to experiment with yourself. Otherwise, or you have to keep it very flexible. You don't have to have strong roots that in terms of saying roots about that you're too static. You can move around, you can engage yourself, you can just take leaps. Then you can really experiment with yourself. You have to be vulnerable also to a lot of things. So that is the great change I felt. So that I have moved out of Kolkata, where my body of work is in Kolkata. Everybody knows me. I kind of so-called celebrity status in this city. But at one point of time, when you go to an unknown city like Bombay, where you have nobody actually recognizes you, somebody from Kolkata who has done a good work. But to take that movement, I think for me, it was a very big challenge. But I'm working with that. Even I'm trying to do Hindi theatre. Maybe. Let's see. How can I operate there also? I've done some Hindi theatre, of course, but that's a National School of Drama. Completely different way of operation, but really engaging in a public work in Bombay. So I think that's very important for me to, as an artist, I feel that now I can wait, but I'm still looking for new chances to come back to Kolkata and do some work, but in a new space, new architecture, new way of working with my actors. Try different methodologies. We talk about methodology in theoretical terms, but actually to bring that in practice is most important. How to really work in a multidisciplinary way. What is multidisciplinary? It is not putting some things together on the performance space. It is a process. Are you working in a really multidisciplinary way with your actors, with your co-artists? So really practice that. Attempt that. With all the chances of failure, all the chances of going wrong, then again coming back, finding the right way. There's nothing called right or wrong in art, right and wrong. But you can feel that something is working, something is not working. So you can feel that. That feeling will take you forward. Not to create something right or this is going wrong, but to feel that sense that we are going in a way where all feeling good, while feeling challenged, while everybody is feeling that way of we are creating something which is important for us, which might be important for the other people in the process.
This is actually very reassuring and inspiring for as a young person who is trying to find their way in theatre in Kolkata. This is sort of the most reassuring thing I have heard in a long time. So thank you for that. One article by you that I have come across regularly, like I think it was written at least 2 decades ago. It was about Thik theatre and Chetona, the political theatre of Chetona. So, how has that idea of political theatre changed throughout your work?
It actually changed majorly because one is that Arun Mukhopadhyay, who is incidentally my father, his political thoughts is from a different school, right? Which has a different engagement with the so-called left politics, and is continuously, being part of certain time in his own time when he was trying to create his own theatre. That school remained a different way. That's a different way of looking at society. Arun Mukherjee have definitely given that seed to Chetona to make the tree happen, and which came from that, Thik Natok, or that thing. So, but I think that his theatrical practice is very different. His own ideological, whatever he had. But if you see Marish Shangbad, he is a much more, and Jagannath, or even Roshan, or Dukhimukhi Jodha. As an artist, I think he's much more liberal. Means not so much insular with his ideological, thoughts. So he has brought deeper questions in Jagannath in other plays also. But for me, I have come up, or I have been processed by a socio-political time, where we have to think in a very different way, in a different kind of politics, a different kind of thoughts, and how I started my career as a theatre director, and my political thoughts, which was very much, I think, was insular at that time. It had certain confinements, some superstructure, which I wanted to come out of. I thought I have been too much confined by a certain superstructure of political thoughts or so-called left ideology. And that question came to me again and again, how to make myself out of a certain superstructure of so-called left ideology. Certain kind of insularity in my understanding of society. So opening up my studies, my theoretical concepts to other areas of inquiry in that way. Like when the postmodernism came as a theoretical thought, the post-structural thoughts, to engage themselves with a more deeper question of deconstruction. That question came to me very strongly, that how to deconstruct, to bring out certain deeper political quest in my theatre, rather than trying to put my ideological percepts into certain theatrical code. How to keep that open, how to keep that more engaging, or there is a inert contradiction which can bring out, instead of talking about a certain way of political definement, given a definite political ideological perception, other than let the work itself engage into some kind of debate. How to create that space within my performance, within my text, how to create the debate. That artwork itself is creating a debate within its framework. That's very important. It can engage, it can happen with the Shakespeare play also. Right? That how to bring that ideological contradiction within the context of a text. How to bring that out and put people in that situation. That I am not preaching something from stage. I'm opening up an area of debate, a domain of contradiction, a fight, an engagement with emotion, with political consciousness. So I think that I have come from Coriolanus to Gantobbo, Tistabar, to Jara Agun Lagai. If it's that my live production. My last production technically is Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard, which I done with the students of National School of Drama. But in Bengali, there's the last theatre. I think that was there. Then attempt in Jara Agun Lagai to bring that scope out. But it is very difficult to articulate the process.
Yes.
You can only seen and watched and felt. I cannot articulate it.
Okay.
So I think that's very important that I'm looking for that work, looking for that moment or looking for that process. How to create it out of my own artwork, a space of debate can come. It itself create that logical contradiction. And I am also part of it. I am also watching it every day and feeling it every day. That's very important. So that change has come. So maybe that to bring more political insularity I had, or the sociological insularity of I had, or certain definitive structures of my thought process, always to break that structure and keep that open. So my definitions are under eraser all the time. So it should be under eraser all the time. That's the big political change I felt it happened within me.
That's wonderful. And this was more about the content. Coming to the form, I see that you made a Journey with Wrong Number in 2002 and Echoes, a performance piece in 2015. And from the little bits that I could collect about these two productions, it seems that Echoes was as novel to the Kolkata audience in 2015 as A Journey with Wrong Number was in 2002. So this changing the space, and you are one of the people who have been responsible for this cutting edge performances in Kolkata. So where do you think experimental theatre in Kolkata is going, or have you got any?
Yeah, 2003, it was Chetona's, how many years? Right? 30th year? So I tried to create an international festival. I got a puppet artist from New York, Theodora Skipitaris, who created Helen in Kolkata. Then I thought that I will use Hiron Mitra's paintings and engage in a dialogue with the performing bodies. So I just told my actors, who at that time was fully trained, very nice team I had with Tistabar Brittanta, really went through processing them, working with them very strongly. So they were ready, physically ready, intellectually ready to engage in this kind of experiment. Experiment cannot come out of air. You have to prepare yourself to get into that experimental space. You have to have that team who can really visualize your ideas, who have a journey with me. So my team was ready that time. So I just brought the paintings and sculpture of Hiron Mitra and told my actors, react to them. Just physically react to them. Do whatever you want. I don't want to give you any performative code. This is a space. You have the paintings, you have the sculptures. Respond to them. So they started responding. I only put these responses together in one small garland of time and spatial, temporal and spatial structure. So there are a lot of things which come. So I think that this is another important thing which I want to do, that you have to prepare your actors and your artists to engage them in dialogue. You cannot work with actors who do not understand what do you mean by experiment, how to work with your body. What is your body? What is the body politics? So you have to bring that. That is the methodology. You have to engage them into that practice, and then they can bring that out. So I think that time, and then when I did Echoes, it was actually another big challenge, and I love this kind of work. That again, artists with their paintings and sculpture there, they're already set. I don't have the access to change them. They're hanging or they're lying. The installations are there. Then I've got my actors together. Again, it will respond to them. What is this painting? If you're watching at this painting, any Jivanananda line coming, or a Shakespearean comment coming, or you're thinking about some other song, just tell me those. So I collect them from my artist study. So anybody can start looking at the small artwork, say to be or not to be. That is the question. Then okay, that is my line for this art. And then why don't you add another song to this? I told another artist. So okay, are you feeling that song is coming within you? Of course I'm feeling. So he started singing. And from that song he moved to another song. So okay, let this transition happen. So it is free flowing. It is not confined. So if we can have this space in our theatre, as a director, I have to only, which I feel is very important, which don't used to do before, that I think I can now handle, manipulate an artist in a way that they can bring out their best from themselves, rather than I am saying what you have to do. Right, but I have to trigger to pull that, or have to kind of touch that instinct within the artist, which can give him that liberty, that openness, where he can open up. And that is, I think, the highest skill of a director, to trigger that. And the best directors are they who can trigger this, who can touch that area where you are the most sensitive, which will, firstly, they have to trust me. So you have to first give them trust, and then to trigger that point. The moment to trust a director, so first to actually get that trust from the actors, and then that trust will give you, manipulate. I will use the word manipulate, of course, or engage them into this dialogue that they can give their best. So I always try to do that now. Before, I was very stuck with my own ideas. I was too much love with my own ideas. I'm self-obsessed with my own ideas, which I'm not anymore. That is the emancipation which I think I got from myself. That I was not stuck with my ideas. Because I know that will only kill the art if I'm stuck with my ideas. And I have to create that team who can also respect my vision. That is very important also. So I think now I can skillfully work with the actors in that way, which I gathered through years of experience, that I can do that, and the best can be brought out. And that methodology, that processes are through multidisciplinary means to bring the best out of the performance.
So it becomes really a collaborative effort.
Yeah, the collaboration is most important. I think any art form, even as a filmmaker, I think collaboration is must. And collaboration, and you have to work with friends who are not obsessed with you. Friends who are not looking as a guru or somebody, a fascist dictator. And I also have to get out of that mode, because that brings out the collaboration. An artist has to be confident with himself or herself to bring them out of this mode of, this is what I am thinking. From that point, tell me what you are thinking. I know how to treat your material, how to know how to use your thinking in my advantage. That is the other way around. It is not, this is what I am thinking, you adapt to my thoughts. Or rather, what you are thinking, give me that. I will try to put them in a stream, some aesthetical, mode to bring the performance thing. So I think that's the collaboration. And theatre art is all about collaboration and how you process it. Whatever small you are doing, whatever big you are doing. And if you're not open to collaboration, if you're not open to create this space in your working process, then I think the art will be, the artistic expression will be stuck. It will not be the way it can really flourish. You don't know how much you can do if you don't leave this out. So one is the preparation from inside, the everyday, working with yourself to bring the space within yourself first, and then to convey or disseminate these thoughts, these ideas to your team, so they can give you your best. And collaboration is not an easy thing to do. It's easy to say, let's collaborate, let's do it together, let's put it as a team. But how to create that team? How to bring that team together in one thought process, and so they can really contribute. Contribution is not so easy. It needs practice. It needs daily practice. Improvisation needs daily practice. Use improvisation to your advantage, to your aesthetic purposes of a play. So I think that's very important to how to bring this area of togetherness or collaborativeness in an art form. Everybody is contributing to make things more and more deeper, more and more stronger.
So this is the collaboration between the director and the artists, or the whole group that we were
Right,
talking
right.
about. So there's other kind of collaboration between the text and the director, or the author who is not always present, and the director. And you have even with Tagore's plays, you have always spoken and worked in the favor of rethinking them and disassociating them from the hackneyed codes that they're usually associated to. And you've also adapted from novels, complex novels. So how does that collaboration work for you?
I think that working with Tagore, it is very important. The first thing which I wanted, which I really have to convince myself first, that why I'm doing Tagore. For the sake of doing Tagore, I want to find something out of Tagore. Why try to attempt Tagore even? That's the first question I raise, and then bring myself out of that aura which has been created around Tagore. How to really have a dialogue with him without this sitting in the under his feet and talking to him like that. No, as a director, I cannot afford to do that. Maybe he has to sit in front of me and talk to me. So first to bring that equation with him, that was a struggle. How to bring me out of that aura and let's talk as two friends who can argue, who can disagree, who can fight. If I can do that with Tagore, then I'll be able to do a justice to my work. So I think that is the one thing which I started to do, and that brought out the new thoughts in me. That I was not being confined within the given codes. This is the way Tagore has to be done. These are not allowed in Tagore. These things are not appropriate for Tagore. What is appropriate for anything, right? In your socio-political thoughts, or your conduct in the society, or even working with art, there's no rules. That is the main rule. So I think that let's first think about that, working with Tagore, and that brought out some new metaphors. My work with Tagore. My first work was Phalguni Shuchana Parva, that small introduction to the Phalguni play. That really was a very nice feeling after doing that Tagore. That okay, I think that I have brought myself out of that aura of Tagore. I can really now discuss with him. I can fight with him. I can talk to him. So that dialogue has to happen. Even the playwright is dead. He is 500 years old. But there is a dialogue which goes on with your playwright. And what are you saying in these lines? Then the lines is saying something. No, you are not saying this. This is what I think. No, I wrote it from a different way. Forget about it. How you wrote it. This is my way. So even the living playwright, you have this. But it is much more imaginative and interesting to have this dialogue as a playwright. It is not available to you.
Yes.
And then you read a lot of the reference books. He told this is what he meant by this, he that meant by. No bloody hell! This is wrong. This is right. I know you tell me. I'm trying to engage with the playwright himself, and finally something comes out. So then you say that what I am thinking is not right. Then what are the other things? So finally you come to look at this is what I think is the meaning of this text. And with the living playwrights, yes, I respect when I choose to do even a Bratto Boshu play, I treat him as respectfully as Tagore or Shakespeare. It is that he's a playwright, he's working with text, so I'm working with his text. So even I remember when somebody changed the line of Bratto's play when I did Agun Mukho. Why are you changing these lines? Well, no, but I think this should be. Well, no. If you are not ready to change a Shakespeare line, why are you changing it as a living contemporary playwright? No, don't disrespect me. First try to find a meaning what he has written. Then because I have the liberty to talk to him and I tell him, look, I want to change this. Do you think this is okay? I can have this. So I think that this dialogue happens when I actually work with a playwright who is living. Till now is only I think who is the playwright. I worked. One is Debesh Rai. He's not a playwright. He's a novelist, and Navarun Bhattacharya. These are two people who worked with very intensely together when adapting their text for cinema or theatre, and that engagement was very healthy. I really opened up my soul to them. This is what I want to do, and they immediately gave me the license. Okay, you do. Even I remember during Pistabar Brittantu, Devesh Rai even told me that I am not giving you permission. I will see one of your rehearsals. I'll watch, and then I will tell you, okay, you can do. That's a big risk. So I worked like 6 months with the actors, and then I called the novelist, and said, no, I'm not giving permission. Then, but what happened? It completely reverse. He came to see. I was very nervous that time. I working with a 50-member team for 6 months, and then I called the novelist. But when he watched it, he actually started contributing. He said that, Suman, can we change this? Can we change that? And then we became co-playwrights after that. And that really brought out what Tistabar was, that way. And Navarunda was, he will never come to rehearsals. He always was so great comrade of me. He always say, God, do it. Yeah, whatever you want to do it. So I got those, great help from the, person like Devesh Rai, with one of the major novelists of world literature, Navarun Bhattacharya, also a great literature. So I think that I got this, this love from these playwrights, and they really engage themselves. And Navarun will never come to see a rehearsal. Just I will go and watch the play or the film. I remember this is very different, maybe off the way. When I first showing him Herbert, my first film, it was screening happening in Ondol. I remember when this scene came and Binu was dying. Binu is dying. So Romano suddenly walked out of the auditorium. So I was completely thought that he is not liking the film, or maybe my perception of the entire film. So after 5 minutes, I was completely stuck to my chair. Then I walked out, and she is smoking cigarette. Smoking was that time allowed, non inside. And he's standing outside, looking outside the window. Then I came, what happened? Then he turned me, he was full of tears. Then I told him, what happened? Why are you crying? Well, I can't watch Binu dying. And he was crying. So I also started crying that time. Both the two grown-up people are crying on the balcony. So, but no one liked the film. I was shocked. So I think that he said that when Binu, after let Binu die, let his body burnt away, I will come back again. So I think this thing and other Tagore and Shakespeare, Chekhov, even then when he did Fireface, the German playwright, Meyerburg. Meyerburg was another good experiment. He's a contemporary German playwright. Yes, I engage myself with my text. That's a very different process, that's my work. And then I put the entire text in front of my artists. This is where now we start contributing. I have a faint idea, what I have to do. We start from there.
This conversation was very educational for us. But I'd still like to ask you, from your journey in theatre till date, what would you say is the most important thing that the younger generation could benefit from learning, from knowing?
Look, I have no clue that what the young generation will take from my work. They look. One is that speaking like this one way, but I think the best thing that people can work with me more and more. That will be the best thing to do, because younger generation, I don't know, they always say that come and do a play in Kolkata, keep continuing to do play. But I have never been so, what I would say, every year or every 2 years, every year I'm doing 2 or 3 plays. I'm not like that ever. But I'm trying to create a new theatre practice in my own way, and see that where it takes me and also the new generation of audience which has been created. I have no clue that what the young generation learn from my plays, what they've seen, because there are a lot of plays which have been now shelved, like stopped, like this Tapar will never happen again. Mephisto might happen again, but there are a lot of plays which will never done. But what the people have seen already is something. And then I think that if I can create an atmosphere where I can start a new kind of practice of theatre, then that will help whatever they can take from my practices. And then if, as I told you, that I met few young theatre directors few months back and engaged them with some dialogue with me. Well, you do whatever you want to do, whatever I can, what I would say, uh, whatever advice, or if I can be helpful to gather a space, if I know some people, but please tell me, do it. I don't want to direct, or I don't want to tell you how to direct those plays. You do it your own way. I can only share some ideas with you. That okay, this then don't you have to listen to me. I don't hate that what the new thing they say in Bengali theatre nowadays, that somebody is advising for the play.
Oh,
What is that term?
Pradhan Upadeshta.
Upadeshta. I hate to be Upadeshta, because what is Upadeshta's role in an art world? I'm advising you, I'm going away. Okay, then you listen to me or not listen, that's your problem. But if you ask me, I will tell. But I don't want to announce myself an Upadeshta, an advisor to the project. So, but I can see that if this new generation of theatre artists, who I think are very passionate, but little bit got confused. Confusion is good sometimes, but utter confusion is bad. I think it's utterly confusion which has come out, and they don't know actually how to root the thing. I think that if we can engage in different kind of other kind of performances, new kind of performances, not only theatre, quote unquote, performances, um, uh, and make their processes little more, not like going through the same process of rehearsal processes. It has to be something different. To create something different, you have to create a process. You have to do a different, maintain a different kind of process. But that's, I think, that how to bring that change, how to break out this mold of daily ennui of doing theatre, or this responsibility of doing theatre every day. That what is my responsibility? I think the more responsible you are, is to create new kind of things, create new kind of engagements. The audience, give people more spectrum. I'm not saying stop proscenium theatre, let it go. But what are the others? What is the other theatre happening? Why it is not creating any dent in the society? What is not happening as a movement? You don't have to politically be, in the same platform. It can be different way of doing things. But let it spread. Let it spread. Let it go around. Go and do as many. Attempt to create a new audience. I think people are waiting for it. I truly believe people are waiting for something to happen. It is, sometimes people. What I'm saying, there's a big misconception about doing alternative theatre. It cannot be just as because I'm doing it in a room, it doesn't become an alternative theatre. The process has to be alternative. It is total. The making of the thing has to have an alternative idea. It is not only I'm changing, going into a space and doing it. I'm not doing it in a proscenium stage and going to a small room and doing it. That doesn't make an alternative movement. Alternative movement is also come from alternative processes of making the art of theatre, making the performances. That is confidence. I think that if I can contribute something to that, I'm ready to do that. And myself looking forward to create this kind of things together. Let's see what is the future lies for me.
Thank you so much.